Successful Business, the Toyota way, actually, is what Professor Yoshino has added. And which one of you wants to start first? It's going to be a Shook and Yoshino presentation. You're going to be our number one startup? Okay? And with that, we'll give you back township.
So we just broke a rule there, didn't we? We did the offline setup. Very well. So, hi, welcome back. I'm doing a rare thing. I used to drink a lot of coffee and have some tea. And it's not sweet tea, it's what goes out there. So I think this session and this build is something like characteristics of successful business systems, something like that. And a little over an hour. Okay, so what I was going to do is kind of set up a conversation that Mr. Yoshino has prepared. And so I'll do that. So as Carl said, we'll kind of tag team this. So building a little bit off of what we just we were talking about before as we finished. Let's think a little bit more about how to get from there into some essential characteristics that we need to have in our company. And for the first thing, here's a bunch of words for you. That's one possible definition for what lean is. I think 20 or so years ago, we emphasized the different set of words. There's been something talking a little bit more just about becoming efficient and eliminating waste. And not that there's anything exactly wrong about that, but here's a slightly different way of articulating it, based upon a lot of years of experience, which is just deciding that we're going to take on this challenge of systematically developing people. One characteristic of a lean organization is that the capability building is going on all the time. We're not just solving problems, we're developing problem solvers. There's a difference. So systematically develop people and continuously improve processes by value and prosperity. We're just kind of carefully chosen. Value means value for the customer from the customer's perspective. Prosperity means prosperity for us. We're all go to work and either form a business or we join business to feed our families, to make a living. And so it's not only about providing value to customer prosperity for us and for society, for our communities. And then while consuming the fewest possible resources. Again, what we've always usually said in the lean world is eliminate waste. And we talk a lot about the seven types of waste. And a lot of times, a lot of us add an eighth type. I think I've seen 9. And it's like S's. A lot of people have a 5S process. I've seen now 6S. Of course, back in Toyota, back in the day, we said 4. 4 S's. Inflation taking place. Honestly speaking, between you and me, not to no heresy intended, but so what are the S's? Let's see. First one's a sword. As you go through your stuff and go away to things, The next one is to straighten up what's left. So the way I actually look at it, and it really just need to do those two, you do over and over. So you really just need to, not 6, I think. So anyway, consuming the fewest possible resources actually puts it into the context of kind of a little more of a current context. Because when you think about it, a lot of the waste elimination we do in factories, in the waste rework, that if as we develop our factories, our processes, all of our work, if we really were focusing on having just enough, the fewest possible resources, that would mean So the ultimate lean process is also going to be the ultimate green process. We're going to be using the fewest possible resources, I think. So there's a kind of updated definition for you, which may change the next time we meet. And an organization consists of, one way of thinking about what an organization is and how it needs to change to be successful is that an organization comprised of purpose, why we're here, process, how we do things, and people, and aligning those to create value. And that those, in fact, are also the building blocks for continuous innovation, continuous improvement, purpose, process, and people. And I think as you've learned about lean and got involved in it over the years, you'll often, those of you who are new to it, I bet you've heard that hey, lean is all about process. And if you've been around it for a long time, I bet you, if you think back to when you first learned it, you remember so many times where it's about process thinking. You get obsessive about process, right? So it's great when you first get involved in lean, it's a lot of fun. And then all of a sudden, everywhere you go to the coffee shop, it drives you crazy. You want to get behind the counter and start trying to help take out some of the ways to make it work better. It's very process. It's all about process. Then you also hear the very next day, the very next set of words, someone will say, it's all about people. It's all about people. And then we'll nod at that too. Yeah, but it's interesting to think about it. Well, which is it? It can be all about people. It's also all about process, or can it? So this idea of thinking about these lean as a social technical system, and referring or studying social technical systems is not new. It's been around in, I don't know, since the 60s anyway. But I think that is what a lean system, TPS, or a production system, or a lean system is all about. And you want to have those in balance. So to think about process, which is the word we usually use as we talk in the lean world, we're talking about the technical side of the organization. And I know a lot of companies, I'm sure you've seen a lot, they're very heavily weighted on the process side and technical side. I know a company, in fact, that the entire company is made up of nothing but engineers. The accountants are engineers. The HR people are engineers. You talk with them about being like people who work at the company, and they just look at you like you're crazy. They can't even imagine what you're talking about. It's completely technically oriented. We also know a lot of companies, I'm sure you do, that are people oriented. That everything, you can't even hardly make a decision because everything's a democratic process. Everyone has a veto power, right? You see a lot of companies like that. And I think over time, sometimes you see them go back and forth. Over time. If you think of technical process, I think what we're trying to do with lean-oriented company is teach the art and craft of science. The science will give us a good technical answer. And a lot of engineers in the room, I think, engineers tend to be of a mind that if I have the right answer, that should win the day. That should mean I know I'm right. That's what we should do. But being technically right is only half the battle. You're actually in an organization and trying to make change. We have this people part we have to deal with as well. So that's the role that leaders have, is trying to balance this, get as close to balance as possible. Knowing that it'll never be perfectly in balance, never. You're always going to be kind of going back and forth one view. But being cognizant of that, being aware of that, is an important part of a successful enterprise. It is an important part, I think, of what we want to try to build as lean companies. And an observation to make, we'll talk about this a little bit more, is that you're not going to have any chance of balancing anything unless there's a clear sense of purpose to form the foundation for why we are here together trying to do this work, build this product, sell this product, engineer this product, or provide this service. The purpose needs to be, the more clear the purpose is, the better chance we're going to have as leaders to be able to balance people and process to achieve that purpose. So, a bit of a proposal here. I think many of you have seen, have seen the Toyota Production System house, the TPS house. Let me ask, how many people here have seen this? Okay, how many have not seen? So it's about half and half. And this is not this traditional one that you've seen before. It's a little bit different. Kind of, the Toyota Production System house put together in a way that what happens is people kind of try to copy that. Say, okay, Toyota has these elements to their system, so we're going to try to do that. I think what we really need to do, though, is be aware that Toyota, or other great companies, had certain questions in mind that they were trying to pursue that caused them to come up with their solutions that then, in Toyota's case, resulted in this holistic, balanced, integrated system. On the top, it's got your value-driven purpose wired in here. And the approach to achieving that is situational. And so the problem you're trying to solve. And this is practical. The highest level, why am I here as a company? Starbucks says that they want to make life better by having a third place for people to go to and drink good coffee. Whether you like Starbucks coffee or not, it doesn't matter. That's what their aspiration is. That's their high level purpose. And what problem are they trying to solve? Where they're trying not to run out of coffee, not to have a lot of extra coffee waste, not to have people waiting in the line that's too long, not to have a profit margin, not to have employees' turnover rate to be too high. There's specific problems they're trying to solve. In each individual moment, you have workers who have a problem right in front of them. Like a barista, someone comes in and they order a drink. They order a beverage. That's my immediate problem to solve. How to get the coffee, how to pour the drink, how to make it perfect for that customer. So it's completely fragmented. And in order to solve a problem, whichever one it is, to provide coffee or whatever it may be, there's a process that we use to do that. First thing is, if I'm going to be making this remote slide, clicker, then I've got different parts that I need to put together so that I can ship that. Maybe I ship every day at 4 o'clock. Well, in order to do that, there's a specific process that has to be in place. What am I trying to do? What's the process to do that? And then how can I be continuously improving? Third thing then is the capability. Now that I know what I'm trying to do, which is build these and ship them every day at 4 o'clock, now the process, which is to buy the plastic parts, array them so the worker can do the work. Now, okay, does the worker have the skills to be able to pick up these parts several hundred times a day and put them together perfectly every time? From there, I can go to the next piece, which is inside the house here, which is behavior, the management system, and the leader behaviors. Now, I'm sure nearby there's a bookstore. We're at a university, I'm sure there's a bookstore, and there are a lot of business books. And most bookstores you go to, 90% of the business books are about something about leadership or management. And 90% of those books about leadership and management say essentially the same thing. Something that sounds kind of, there are different ways you can couch the issue. There's a lot of talk now about servant leadership, different ways that leaders should do to go about achieving their objectives. But if we think of this sequence of putting together a business system, we can take discussions of leadership and management out of a conceptual realm and make it highly specific. I need to lead in a certain way because I know how we want to develop people to do the work to achieve the purpose, to solve the problem. Now there's a specific, situationally specific reason of why leaders should lead in a certain way, not just some conceptual reason. In recent years, command and control is just completely discredited. Said that doesn't work. And I'll buy that, it doesn't work. But if we keep that kind of discussion in a conceptual realm, it's not actionable. And one of the things that lean is practical. It says, how can it be useful? So this keeps it highly useful. I need to lead in a certain way because I need to develop people as they do their work so that they can get the work done perfectly every time so we can solve the problem and achieve our purpose. In any organization, any collection of individuals, underneath all that, there's a basic thinking, basic mindset, basic assumptions. It relates a little bit to what we just talked a few moments ago about community. And some of these things are hidden. They're things not necessarily that we talk about, but that underlie and inform the way we make our decisions from moment to moment. So lean transformation, or success in business, I'm going to say, means innovation and needs change on these five dimensions. And we're going to focus a little bit now in the next few minutes on this middle part here, which is often gets the most attention, which is process improvement, developing capability, and then the role of leaders. We're going to talk about that. Mr. Yoshi is going to share some insights about that. Just one quick observation, though, just from looking at this house that I want to make. How many times do you hear someone say, Well, I don't care if it's Lean or it's Six Sigma or what process improvement tool you use. Any process improvement tool is fine. And it makes sense when you hear someone say that, right, on the surface. But I just want you to take a quick look here. You see where process improvement is? It's one of 5 pieces. So Lean is not just process improvement. So people put it in that bucket. Just always be aware of that. Lean is actually much more than that. It's process improvement, it's people development, it's the way we're going to lead and manage to achieve our purpose, being cognizant of how we think. It's one piece of 5, not the only thing. So, to go a little bit more. The leader's job then is to develop his or her people through getting the work done. In the middle here of this house, you see the leader behaviors and management system. One more thing about that. Management system, distinguishing between those two is a useful thing, I'll suggest, as you go back and if you're thinking in your company or if you're thinking we can get your career ahead. We get them mixed up, management leadership. A management system is something you can design. There's a mechanical design to it. In other words, we meet every morning at 8 o'clock to do a huddle. And then we review every day, midday for 5 minutes. And then once a week we have a certain kind of meeting where we review how we did for the week and plan next year's. And then every month we have a certain meeting to look at our financials. That's a management system that you can just make mechanically designed. Leader behaviors then are those soft side things. Like what someone does, for example, the way I might respond when you come to me with a problem. Do I get mad? Do I panic? Do I accuse you? Do I blame you? Those kinds of things are the leader behaviors. So we can distinguish between those. And an important part of lean thinking is captured by this little graphic right here, which I borrowed from Toyota. When Mr. Yoshino hired me 30 years ago in Japan, there was nothing about this written in English. Absolutely nothing. And there wasn't a whole lot written in Japanese. And one of the ways I was being taught and developed, first of all, by doing, go to the factory and build some cars. And then they had a bunch of cartoons like this. There's some random words around that I was trying to make sense of. And this is one that I saved on all these years. And what it means is, if you take a look at the leader there, we're walking up a hill. We have a purpose, which is to climb the hill. We have a process, which is, it looks like, I think I see some, he's got a little pick there, right? So it's not exactly rock climbing, but it's a little more than just a hike in the woods, right? So that's going to define the work to be done. Process to be improved. So I know that we need a rope, we need this little pick, because it's going to be some pretty hard climbing. Third part was the capability of building, right? So do we have the capability to be able to put one foot in front of the other and climb the hill? And then the leader's role here is clear. What you see, instead of this, the leader just walking, the leader's turned around. A different kind of pull system. The leader's job is to develop his people. This is something that Mr. Yoshino and others spent a lot of time teaching me many years ago. And this graphic kind of captures that in a nice graphic way. So with that thought, we think that the most important thing in terms of successful characteristics of successful companies is how we build capability, how we develop people. Or there's nothing more important than that. And so Mr. Yoshino will share some of his insights from Toyota and how they go about doing that. Next slide. That microphone.
Okay, let me go through really quickly what is Toyota's Human Resource Development Program. As you saw, can I go back? Here. Actually, this was the illustration about how to train people, TWI, or that type of textbook we see. But I interpreted this. You see the leaders up there. Oh, up there, leader. Oh. And these are subordinate. And in Japan, we hire people quite regularly every April. Actually, the end of March, they graduate from school. Then they start working in April. So when in the hiring process, what kind of capability or characteristic or personality we value very much is that potential, not the current capability or ability or personality is important, but capability-wise, basically we don't pay much attention to the current capability. Doesn't matter. Even if the capability is down low, this guy is low right here. Looks at first he or she looks like, okay, can he or can she play an important role in this organization from the way he or she talks? Sometimes, even though we see the capability really low, but as long as he or she has a potential to grow, we hire them. And that is a basic idea. So I think I interpret this leader is responsible for taking care of the people, putting their mindset together, but at the same time train people, educate people, advise, encourage people from here to up here until these guys surpass you as a leader. So this is the basic idea. So that's the basic idea behind our practices, which is slightly different from the rest of other